Hey y'all, what's up? Look, I know I'm one show behind. I'll be trying. Like I said, things are just a little different. These 2 weeks my mother-in-law's with us. We've had such a great time with her here. She's gonna be going back on Thursday, so I'll be able to get back in my office and do this. But yeah, so we're gonna get started with Never Ever Met. Like I said, I'm one episode behind. I think I might be on 7, I think. Um, and y'all, it's just like I get it because I understand that this is for entertainment. I get it. But I just really thought we were gonna see couples that were really trying to make it, you know what I'm saying? And really, I don't know, the show just kind of turned into something else with all the secret babies and all this other stuff. So I was kind of disappointed, but like you said, it's a show for the drama. They got to pull the ratings. So what are you gonna do? All right, so let's get into it. I don't know why I have so many notes. Good lord, I don't feel like the episode had that much going, but yeah, okay. So the first scene, Jay and Cinco talk about how Clay was drunk one night and told them that his best friend um is coming to the house. Yeah, so Clay was telling them that his best friend was coming to the house and that you she was a girl, first of all, a woman, and that she used to be a porn star. So that was a lot. Um Clay is just a mess. I think we all know that. He has a baby that Tatiana at this point still didn't know anything about. His best friend is a woman. Not only is his best friend a woman, I'm assuming she's very attractive. And y'all might think I'm closed-minded, but I just don't do female best friends. Like I wouldn't date a guy that had a female best friend. I just wouldn't. Um, like I said, everybody do your own thing. That's just I couldn't do it. I feel like when you get married, that's kind of the wife's role. I feel like we're best friends. So if you like, oh well, I gotta go hang out with Sally Sue, like I just can't. So female best friend. Um, and then for real, I just couldn't wait for this secret to come out. Like I kept telling y'all, like we on episode 7. Like what is going on? So I was glad that it finally came out this episode. But yeah, Clay, he was drunk and said too much to Jay and Cinco. So the next thing, Kiki and Brittany. Kiki asked Brittany about her relationship with Ty and if oh yeah, with if Ty and that's too many names. Brittany, whatever. Kiki and Brittany, about their relation, yeah, with Ty, and if they went to the intimacy suite yet. Because you know how Brittany and Ty kind of have a weird relationship. Like I said, I don't think she's attracted to him. He looks much older, and I think it's the gray hair that's making him look older than he is. And you could tell all in this episode. If y'all thought I was reaching, this episode, you could tell very, very clearly that Brittany's not into Ty. If it's somebody that you genuinely like, attracted to, you're into, like, you're not gonna mind hugging them or kissing them or you know what I'm saying? She was just acting real crazy this episode. She's like, no, we're not going to intimacy suite. And yeah, I don't see them working. And like I said, I don't know what changed because it's not like he catfished her or she didn't know what he looked like. I'm thinking maybe whenever they were on FaceTime, he was dressing really well because you can see even on this episode in the confessional, like he was dressing well. So I don't. I'm trying to find something. I don't know. I don't know if when she seen him in person and when he got those flip flops on and those high ankle socks and those big T-shirts, I don't know if that threw her off. Um, to me, it's like one of these is not like the other, right? So you see all the men in the house, they're young, vibrant, sort of kind of in shape. And then you see Ty. And then no offense to Ty, right? I'm sure he's a great guy, but they all look like they're in their 30s, like at the tops. And again, Ty just looks like he's 55. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ty. I'm sorry. So That's what I'm thinking. She's in the house with all these young, vibrant, young-looking guys, and then she looks at her guy like, "Dang." You know what I'm saying? It's the only thing I can think of. But anyway, so next scene with Clay. So this is where the drama ensued. So Clay's best friend, I think her name was Jamila, enters the house and gives him a big hug and jumps into his arms. And the thing about me, y'all, and I'm gonna talk off both sides of my mouth right here, but I just, and I think I told y'all this. Um, I just, I was always the type of person where, and I feel like everybody should be like this, especially if you're single. Like, you gotta love yourself. You gotta love being with yourself, around yourself. You gotta be willing to go to sleep alone by yourself and really love yourself. And when you do, you're not willing to just take any old thing from anybody. And I was just always like that. And I was the only child, so I probably had a leg up in that area because I was used to being by myself for 18 years. So it was just natural to me. Like, I love being alone. You know, I have no issues with that. Never did. So whenever I was going to be with a guy, if I spotted something that wasn't right, some old red flags, like it was nothing for me to be up out of there. So I say that to say, when I would have seen her jump into his arms like that, I would have just went ahead and started packing my bags pretty much. And that's why I also say if anything ever happened between me and my husband, I would never get married again because I just be seeing the red flags. I just would be like, nope. It would be no way. It would just be no way. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so she jumps into his arms. Like I said, I would have went ahead and start packing right there. Because I think, and this is wrong on both of their ends. I think on her end, I think you need to respect his new relationship, and I think on his end, same thing. Like, hey, give her a little half hug or something. Or even to her point, she's like, well, we always do this. I would have talked to her on the phone, Clay, and been like, "Hey, I know we always do the jumping hug thing, but when you come, just kind of play it cool." I would have said, you know what I mean? Come on now. So Clay wasn't thinking on that one. They both weren't thinking. Um, and it's so funny because the person that be cracking me up is Cinco. His face always be like, he is hilarious. Everybody's face was hilarious because everybody was kind of like looking like, did she just? So they had me cracking up on that. And I also thought she was inappropriately dressed as well. And see, this is why I don't do female best friends, because you never know. And I'm sure it's not like that 100% of the time, but you just never know what they up to. I thought she was very inappropriately dressed. It's like almost like she had on like a bra pretty much or something, like a bathing suit type of bra. I didn't know why she was wearing it. Like, this dating show isn't for you. This is for and that's when I knew the jumping hug and the way she was dressed. I was like, okay, she's trying to do something else. And I said I was gonna talk out both sides of my mouth, and I got to keep it real with y'all. So I was in a similar incident. This is me and my husband were probably dating. We were dating. We weren't married. We were probably dating for like, let's say, a year. Okay. And I was like, okay, I think this might be somebody I want to marry. And so we were living in Arkansas at the time. And for work, that's where we met or whatever. And so I brought him back to where I live. Because I went to HBCU, so homecoming is a really big deal. So, I brought him back to kind of see that, meet my family, friends, all that. And so I'm in Tau Beta Sigma, which is a national honorary band sorority, right? So, we're among black colleges and stuff, that's a big thing, and white too. And so when I go back, I've only been out of school for a year. So, everybody's still there. I still know everybody at the school. So when I go back, and band was a big part of my life. I marched for all 4 years, and you create family. And so it's homecoming week, all the alumni come to the band room. It's like a whole thing. So I bring him with me, to introduce him to, all my band people, line brothers, line sisters. And one of my line brothers, was like, "What's up, T?" And like picks me up. And mind you, I'm 5 feet, so it's not like that's a hard thing to do. I was like, "Oh my God," you know what I'm saying? So we laughing, da, da, da. And my husband was so mad about that. He was irate about that. And I was just like, "This is my brother. Like, what you talking about?" And, so we joke about it now, but that was like a big deal. He was so mad. It like messed up our whole trip. Because he couldn't let it go. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't pledge, so he didn't understand like the line brother, line sister type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So he was highly upset. And I told y'all, in my mind, I seen what I needed to see, and I was like, cool. I'm gonna play it cool for the rest of the trip. When we get back home, I'ma never talk to him again. Cause I don't got time, right? Like I'm cool. I'm cool by myself. Like I don't need that. Like it's cool. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that saved us, y'all, we would not be married to this day. The only thing that saved us is instead of leaving out of the airport, from the city that I was in, that's like maybe 15 minutes from my house, we left out of a city that's closer, that's about an hour and a half drive, okay? Because the ticket's a little cheaper. So we had pretty much an hour and a half to like talk, you know what I'm saying, and get through it. But had we left out of that 15-minute airport, we wouldn't be together to this day because I already had my mind made up. That's why I said I would never get married again because I just be finding stuff. And I'm like, nope. But anyway, that was a super tangent. Okay, let me get back on track. So, like I said, I'm talking about both sides of my mouth, but this was wrong. Okay, in this instance, this was wrong. Um, and then what else would crack me up is that they were all mimicking like the hug that she gave. They was all jumping into each other's arms and stuff. I said they are crazy. So then Jay goes and tells Tatiana about the hug. Um, and I mean, I guess I was like, is that messy? But it is what it is. And Tatiana was furious. And I'ma say, I don't even think it was the hug. I think Tatiana was already mad when she realized his best friend was a woman. So I think she just needed anything to go out there and be mad about. You see what I'm saying? She couldn't be mad because, oh, she's a woman. She was looking, I need anything. And when they said the hug, she was like, okay, that's the ammo I needed. Got it. um, so yeah, I think that's what that was about. Um, but then I'm hoping he would have told her already that, like, yeah, my best friend's a woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping she wasn't surprised and that was her first time knowing that. Or was it that, yeah, my best friend's a woman, but maybe Tatiana didn't know she looked that good? I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't really read that. Um, so yeah, then Tatiana runs outside and is about to fight Jamila over this hug, right? And this is the thing, ladies. It's like never fight another woman. Always keep your focus on the man. The man is the problem. Clay could have stopped this. You know, Clay could have been like, whoa, whoa, what you doing? Or something, you know, when she jumped into his arms, like something like, hey, I don't want this. Like, oh, you know, or something. Right. So let's focus on the man. I never like when you would start attacking the other woman and then the man gets to sit there and play dumb and skate free. So I wasn't feeling that. Um, and then Tatiana says, you know, once again, it feels like she's the last to know he's acting up. And this is true, man. We got the vegan thing, you know. She was the last to know. The baby, she's still the last to know at this point. And then this whole hug thing. So meanwhile, Jamila is telling Clay how Tatiana would be a really bad example for his daughter. So after Tatiana runs out and they have their little spat, I think Tatiana goes back in. And then yeah, Jamila was telling Clay, like, yeah, she would be a bad example for your daughter. So then I was starting to look at her like, dang, so I'm feeling like Jamila was threatened and Jamila doesn't want to see Clay in a fully functioning relationship. Was why are you jumping in his arms? Why are you dressed like that? And then why are you telling Clay like, oh yeah, she'd be bad? Like you don't even know. Now, granted, Tatiana did look crazy in this scene, but you don't even know her like that. You should be coming in almost as a mother figure almost, you know what I mean? Like, "Hey, how you doing? Yeah, my name is, Jamila. How are you?" "Okay, yeah." Dressed very nice, and so I could tell Jamila was on something else. And what was also funny, Clay's life was flashing before his eyes as all this was going. He was just like, because he's like, "Oh, no, I like Tatiana, but Jamila's my best friend, but this is never gonna work. What am I gonna do?" You could just see his eyes. So Clay decides it's best that Jamila leave the house, which I agree. And then y'all, Jamila embraces him again and holds his arm as they walk. So here's now she's rubbing it in. So I really didn't like Jamila. And like I said, Clay's gonna just have a hard time with any woman until he sets boundaries because Jamila clearly doesn't respect boundaries. So he's gonna have to be the one to be like, listen, I got this girl, Tatiana or whoever, I'm really serious about her. And he's really going to have to put some boundaries down because Jamila does not care at all, which is sad. Um, and that made me wonder if Jamila likes Clay. I don't know why, but I don't know. It seemed like it was more than brother sister the way she was acting, unless she was just trying to rub it in. Again, I don't know why she was trying to rub it in. Because if it's truly your best friend, you should want the best for them. Like with my friends, I want what they want. I want the best for them. Like I'm never trying to sabotage, something for them. So I was thinking like, dang, does she want to be with him? He just had a baby. I don't know. But this is to my point, y'all. This is probably the worst case scenario, but this is why I don't do female best friends. Okay. So then Clay sits down with Tatiana and apologizes to her for about Jamila. Um, but the best apology is changed behavior. Never forget that. Don't let people keep apologizing. And that's what Clay's doing. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She didn't say that a million times. But can you stop it? Okay. Can I stop being the last to know everything? Um, and I don't think Clay plans on changing how he interacts with Jamila at all. And we'll see that later in the scene. I think he's just apologizing to apologize, but I don't think he plans on changing anything. And then Tatiana is still very furious, as you can imagine. And finally, y'all, we get to the scene we've all been waiting for. Clay finally is going to tell Tatiana his secret about this daughter, y'all. We've been waiting, 7 episodes, right? So the moment is here. And I couldn't wait. And I had my popcorn and I was like, oh, yeah. How anticlimactic, y'all. How anticlimactic. We waited all this time and I just knew it was going to be good. And I just knew. And he tells her, and I was like, maybe she didn't hear him. Because did y'all see how she totally ignored the baby like it was nothing and went back to talking about Jamila? I was like, no, no, this was the scene. I thought you, what? I was so disappointed. He was like, oh, yeah, and I want to tell you, so I don't even want to talk about the child. I'm still talking about, I was like, what you mean you don't want to talk about the child? That was crazy to me. So that's when I was like, okay, I think I probably said this about almost all the women in the house. Don't think Tatiana is working with a full deck either, because that's crazy. I would have been like, wait, what? You got a baby? What you mean a baby? A baby who? A brother? Baby brother? You got a child? That's how old? And she just totally acted like him having a best friend was more important to discuss that. It was crazy. I was very shocked because I was waiting for that scene, man, and she just ruined it for us. But anyway, also this is classic gaslighting. I know y'all might hear that term a lot. This was a very good example. She says, "You tried to make me look stupid." He says, "How did I try to make you look stupid?" Y'all, this is what gaslighting is. The person that's doing wrong, they know they're doing wrong. They know what happened, but they're going to try to act like they don't know what's going on. Okay? Then she explains, "You let her jump into your arms and it made me look stupid." He said, "Did you see it?" She says, "They told me." He says, "Who's they?" This is an example of what gaslighting is, okay? The other person is going to try to make you feel like you don't know what you're talking about, okay? And you're crazy. And it's a way for them not to have to take accountability. That's the whole point of gaslighting. He knows exactly what she's talking about and what happened, but he's gonna play all these semantics like, well, you didn't technically see it, and who is they? We're gonna be listening to they, or we're gonna worry about what's between us. And people gaslight in the hopes that you'll start to second guess your logic, okay? Because if people can tell you you're crazy so many times, eventually you'll start believing it yourself. And then when you see them doing blatant stuff, you'll trick yourself like, dang it, maybe I am tripping. Maybe they're not doing. That's the point of it, okay? To start making you second guess your own thoughts. So that's exactly what Clay was doing here. And I'm about tired of it. Okay, so then Tatiana, of course, doesn't know, I can only imagine. It's just a lot with him anyway. And then to add on a baby and a best friend that's being messy, I imagine it was a lot for her. So I was really happy to see her mom. Her mom comes to the house and she explains to her mom what's going on with Clay and how he brought the best friend over and she jumped into his arms and how he lied about having a child. Um, I was disappointed in the mama. I was very disappointed in the mama. Why didn't the mama want to know more? She was like, "Oh, wow. Well, let's meet him." Like, what you mean, let's meet him? And maybe they talked about this off camera. I'm hoping, maybe. But I was just like, girl, you don't want to know the details? What? Anyway, so then Tatiana and her mom sit down and Clay comes in, for them to have like the group meeting or whatever. And Tatiana tells Clay to go sit on the opposite couch. But Clay introduces himself to her mom, and here you go with these apologies again. It's like, how many times has he apologized on this show now? I can't even keep count. Um, and it's like we all miss it and fall short sometimes, y'all. But good Lord, he is taking the cake with this. Um, Again, I was disappointed because they let him off the hook. They let him off the hook. And Tatiana was like, "Yeah, I don't want to be around you. Just leave." They let him off the hook. I'm like, "What you mean just leave?" If I was the mama, I'm like, "Oh, come sit, come sit." I have so many questions. Number one, I would have grilled him. You hear me? He would have been sweating bullets by the time he got off. He would have been begging to go back up to his room. So that was so weak that they let him off the hook like that. Like, make him sit down and answer y'all questions. So I'm questioning Tatiana and her mama now. I was like, y'all. So Tatiana says she's going to sleep on it because the emotions are so high. She asked her mom, what she asked her mom, like, "Mom, what would you do?" And the mom said she wouldn't do anything but have fun. I said, "Okay, bye, mama. You need to go. You're not helping at all." Where is your advice? Where is your no, honey? You have self worth. You don't need him. Like, what you mean? I'm hoping she meant like, don't worry about him. Just stay in the house and get these free drinks and this free food and have fun. I'm hoping that's what she meant. But I'm like, you don't have no good advice for your daughter to be like, girl, what? All I needed to hear was baby. Like, no. You know what I'm saying? And I still don't understand why they hadn't addressed the baby issue. They still weren't talking about it. She wasn't talking about it with her mom either. So that was really confusing to me. I'm just like, you can't be that desperate. It's like I wouldn't understand, but I could see if Clay was very wealthy. I could see if Clay was very attractive. I mean, he's okay, but I just don't understand, like, why she's fighting to be with him. I can't see it. I don't see what he has that she's like, "Oh, man, I can't lose this one." I don't see it. Maybe y'all do. Okay, so Jared and Charlie are discussing the Clay and Tatiana situation, and then Jared tells us that he's was previously married for 3 years, and it didn't work out because he it was exhausting to keep up that pace. I said, "What are you talking about?" I don't even know what that could mean. What I think is he just wanted to be with other women. He got tired of trying to be monogamous, pretty much. Talking about he couldn't keep up that pace. What are you talking about? And I'm not trying to be funny, but if you don't have kids, you don't know what being exhausted is. Okay, so I don't know what he was talking about. I just think he wanted to be with other women, and we already know he out of control too. All right, let me get my next notes here. All right, so then we go to the kitchen and we see Brittany, who is paying no attention to Ty, her man, is in there tickling Cinco. And so Jay thinks it's weird that Brittany is touchy with all of the guys except for Ty. And we already know what it is, y'all. She not attracted to Ty. So then back to Clay and Tatiana. The next morning, Clay gets up and sees the roses that he got Tatiana on the ground. And he says, dang, I must have hurt my girl really bad. He got some screws loose. Then him and Tatiana meet in the kitchen to have a discussion. And Cinco, like I said, he is so funny because he always trying to mediate something. Now, see what you need, that dog. But he has a high level of emotional intelligence. I do like that about him. Tatiana is still talking about this best friend and not addressing this baby. I said, hello. He told you he has a whole entire newborn, and she is still focused on this female best friend. So she wants him to call his best friend and tell her she was wrong. Um, Y'all, if it was me, if I was Clay, I would have ran into the bathroom. So I was like, oh, okay, let me go to the bathroom. I would have texted her so quick to give her a heads up, like, yeah, I'm about to call you. Just act like that. Come on, Clay. Just missing marbles all over the place in that brain. You could tell he didn't want to do it. So he calls her. And Jamila explains that they've been best friends since she was 7, and she always hugs him. Tatiana says there's a difference in a regular hug and the hug she gave, which I agree. Jamila comes out of left field and says that that this was crazy. And I knew I didn't like Jamila, but when I heard her speaking more, I was like, okay. She came out of left field. She don't even know Tatiana. And says that Tatiana's tax bracket is below hers because she wouldn't act that way. And then Tatiana had a good comeback. She says sorry that she's not a porn star. Jamila says that Tatiana drinks wine out of a champagne flute. I was like, wait a minute. I drink wine out of a plastic cup, so I know she think I'm probably living in a project somewhere then. If that's what we basing it off of. I'm not trying to wash no wine glasses and stuff. Just drink it and throw it away. So Tatiana tells Clay that he needs to tell Jamila that she was wrong. And I agree. Meanwhile, Clay is just sitting there stuck, like, oh my God, please let this be over. So then he's finally like, yeah, she was wrong. But he doesn't mean it. So as she's walking away, she's still furious and she calls him a B. And I think this is the second time she does this. And so for this whole situation, it's like it's not cool to be elitist like that. Like, you're not better than anybody. Like, nobody's better than anybody. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care what your job is. Like, you're no better than somebody, mopping floors at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you should base it on people's economic background. That doesn't matter. It's about who you are as a person, not your money, your status. So I can never be cool with Jamila. She doesn't even know Tatiana. That's the other thing. It's not like she really knows her for real. And then Tatiana was right saying that you should never have to beg your man to stand up for you. That's for sure. But yet she's still fighting to be with him. But anyway, their relationship is never gonna work. You shouldn't call your man out his name too. That was wrong by Tatiana. But yeah, this relationship is not gonna work because he's not gonna ever let Jamila go, and they would be at it all the time. He's not gonna choose Tatiana over Jamila, so that's a losing battle. I don't know why she can't see that. So then Kiki and Tatiana, Kiki asked Tatiana, which is what I wanted to know. She was like, "Girl, you gonna stay with him and try to work it out, or does she want to leave?" So Tatiana says that she wants to be petty and make him feel how she made her feel. She's also considering therapy. So Kiki thinks therapy will be good for them to figure out, what's what. And Tatiana says, besides the shenanigans, everything is good. Tatiana's not working with a full deck. Besides the shenanigans, that's like me saying, besides my husband, cheating on me and having a baby, I mean, everything's good. What you mean? Whew. I'm officially done with Tatiana, y'all. I am done. I thought with all of this, she for sure would have been packing her bags. And she's like, oh, well, I just got to sleep on it. I got to see. Maybe if we do therapy. Because, he is a good guy. It's just, and again, I just can't see why she's fighting for him. I don't see, like, is he wealthy? I'm missing it. I'm really hoping that she's staying on the show to get more camera time in the free food and drinks. I'm hoping that's the angle she's going with. Like, let me stay and ride this out so I can just have this free vacation. But she's not really trying to be with Clay. That's why I'm praying that she's really not trying to be with him. Um, Another thing you gotta be careful with when a man messes up like that. I'm not talking about little stuff. I'm talking like big mess ups like he's doing and you stay, it signals to the man like, oh, okay, so I can do anything to her and she's still gonna be here. And that's why you see relationships like that where a woman has been just dragged through the coals with some man for 10, 15 years. It's because he knows, like, no matter what I do, she'll still be here. I might have to beg. I might be in a doghouse for a month or two, but at the end of the day, she's not going nowhere. You never want to be in that position. I feel like your significant other spouse needs to always know that if they mess up too bad, you could be gone. Okay. Always. They never should feel like, oh, whatever I do, they ain't going nowhere. That's not good, in my opinion. Um, okay, so then the next scene, we back to Ty and Brittany, and Ty sets up a date for Brittany. He took her to his apartment. I said, now, Ty, I would have been disappointed. I can go to your apartment anytime after the show. Like, take me somewhere nice. But anyway, goes to his apartment. And then we cut to back to Clay and Tatiana. So Clay and Tatiana have a therapy session with Dr. Allie. Tatiana says she didn't feel protected. Clay says he has bad nerves and anxiety and PTSD from his deployment, and he just wants peace because he is stressed and overwhelmed. Tatiana says she feels hurt and she doesn't feel safe. Isn't it weird how the person that's causing all the drama and the stress is the person that feels overwhelmed? Isn't that weird how that works? He also just he dropped another bomb on us, right? So we got the female best friend, we got the baby, and he has PTSD. It's just a lot happening. And Clay just seems like the type of person to me that he can't feel emotion. It's like he can hurt people, but it's like he doesn't realize, like, hello, are you there? Like, you hurt her. It's like he just like, yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize, but I don't think he really gets it. I don't think this therapy session solved anything. I don't think they came away from that. I think Clay did because he tried to grab her arm and she like grabbed it back. Yeah, I don't know why she's there. I guess like she said, maybe she was just trying to be petty to him. So then Chris and Alexis. So Chris's friend comes to the house and which is a guy. I guess was it his best friend or something like that? Yeah, I think it was his best friend comes to the house and Chris talks to him about him and Alexis having a 10-year age gap, which I had totally forgot about. Um and Chris's friend says when he seen her, it looked like she was a cougar. I was like, dang. How you gonna tell your best friend that? I thought that was kind of disrespectful. Like, if any, and all my friends are married, but well, not all of them, but if any of my friends came to me, and let's say they was with somebody that was, in my opinion, not attractive, like I would never say that. You know what I'm saying? If they love them, fine. I don't gotta be with them, so I'm not about to be like. But maybe that's just how guys talk. But I just thought that was kind of beat up. Like, yeah, we got a 10-year age gap, and he was pretty much was like, yeah, I can see. She looks old. Like, dang, dog. Um, yeah, but I had just totally forgot that they had that big age gap. And I remember from episode 1, we were like, what is Chris getting out of this? We couldn't figure it out. It's like she's older. Because normally it's the other way around. I can see why an older man would like a younger woman, but why would a younger man like an older woman? I'm like, and she's aggressive and she's controlling. It's like, why do you want to be with her again? So anyway, Alexis goes with Chris's friend and she asked him how she can maneuver around Chris. And he says that Chris really loves her, but it's her mouth. This friend is so blunt. It's crazy. And on these type of shows, you gotta watch what type of friend you bring on. 'Cause you know they let you when if they let you bring on a friend, you gotta watch the type of friend that you bring on so they don't mess up what you got going on. He was like, "Yeah, it's your mouth." It's like, dang. So then Alexis's friend goes with Chris, and she asked Chris what did he think about Alexis when he first seen her, and he says he thinks she was beautiful, but she could get more fit. I said, "Say what?" That's so crazy to say. Like, both of these conversations that were happening were real crazy. I wish my husband would say, "Yeah, the first time I seen Tanisha, she looked real good, but I just thought, dang, she could be more fit." Why did you pursue her then? Like, I still don't understand that. So weird. Because normally I have a theory. I do not have a theory, y'all. I really don't know. Um, I don't know what Chris is getting out of being with Alexis. She's older than you. You think she has a crazy mouth. She's controlling. You don't think she's in shape. You don't want to go to the intimacy suite with her because, of course, that would be it. Like, oh, he just wants to have sex. But then that's not it either because she was even saying how he doesn't want to do that. So I don't know. I can't figure that one out. So then Alexis and Chris and their friends, they sit down to recap. You know, they have the group meeting where they all sit together and talk. And they both speak well of Chris and Alexis. Again, both sit downs were bad. So the one with Tatiana and her mom was bad, and then this one was bad too. The friends did a bad job. Everybody, I mean, I would have been like, the first thing I would have said, not trying to start no mess, but I would have been like, "Hey sis, Chris said the first time he seen you, he thought you was out of shape or fat or something. Did you know that?" I mean, I just would have wanted her to know that. You know what I'm saying? And if I was Alexis, I would have been like, "Say, Chris, um, your friend said I got a problem with my mouth. What's up with that? You been telling him that?" But she already know that, so I guess it's not a good. I'm sure Chris has told her that many times too, so that's not really a surprise. But you know what I'm saying? Like they were just like, "Oh yeah, he's great, she's great." I'm like, get off. Production, y'all need to talk to these people when they come on. They need to be asking questions during the sit down and get something going. So then we're back to Clay and Tatiana. So Clay and Tatiana are playing chess, checkers, whichever one. Clay is trying to make small talk and, make Tatiana smile and laugh. And you can tell that Tatiana is not quite over the situation and doesn't want to talk to him. Doesn't want him to, have that full access yet. and Clay is getting frustrated that she's still acting upset. Um, so then we move on to Ty. We cut to Ty and Brittany. So Ty and Brittany, they're at his apartment now. They're in the kitchen, and he asks Brittany for a kiss, and can he have some tongue or something like that? And she was like, no. So Brittany says she would like to be the one to come onto him for affection and not him coming onto her. Once again, she's not attracted to him. Um, yeah, like I told y'all, that's anybody you're attracted to. You're at his apartment. Y'all are alone. What is the problem? And isn't it funny how at first she was so mad because he wasn't paying her no attention and da 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 da. And how the tables have flipped and it was like, oh, he's giving me too much attention. I want to be the one to start stuff, not him. It's like, girl, pick a side. Okay, you are confusing. So now she wants him to back off and all this type of stuff. And you can just tell in her body language that she's irritated and really doesn't want to be around him. It's kind of just trying to do the cordial thing, like, thank you, yeah, ha. But she's not really feeling him. It reminds me a lot of how Alicia was acting towards Urban, if y'all remember them earlier in the season. So then we go back to Clay and Tatiana. They're eating dinner, and Clay asked her if she's all in, and she said no. So he says, what are we doing this for if she's not going to be all in? And he said he has no gas left in the tank and he's out. And the guys try to convince him to stay, especially we was going to start calling him Mediator Cinco. You know, he going to try to talk to somebody if don't nobody else do. This is so crazy, y'all. Clay is so exhausting. He has to be exhausting to be with. He stirs up and creates all this drama. Like, this is all stuff that he's done. Tatiana's not done anything. Like, he does all this stuff. And when she's not immediately ready to forgive him on the dime, he's like, okay, this is too much. I'm out. That's not a safe person to be with. Like I said, he's causing all the issues. But he's always the one to flip it and talk about how stressed he is and how overwhelmed he is. And you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody like that. He's gonna always be stirring up drama and chaos. And if you're not always ready to forgive, then he's gonna be ready to cut you off. Tatiana, where are you? Are the lights on upstairs, honey? What is happening? How is he the one leaving you? I was surprised, but Clay really did follow through and go home because I thought he was about to stay at first. I think he was, but when Tatiana like egged him on, like, well, then leave then. You know? In my opinion, I think in the back of his mind, he knew that Tatiana and his best friend were never gonna work. So I think he was looking for an opportunity to slither on up out of there, so he could keep Jamila as his best friend. And I think he was okay with going home, and he was okay with ending it. So that's all my notes, y'all. That was a wild show. I was just so disappointed because I knew Tatiana was about to give Clay the business. She barely even talked about that baby. That is so weird. Oh my goodness. But anyway, so that's that one. And I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna really try to come back Thursday and do the newest episode, and then I'm gonna be caught back up, okay? So until then, I will see you guys later.